Hey y'all, this is Chandra. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I am late, very late to the discussion, but I want to talk with you about Kevin Samuels and his passing. May he rest in peace. And Dave Chappelle and his attacker. Some very interesting things, two very interesting happenings in the past few days. Kevin Samuels passed away very unexpectedly. He was about 56 or 57 years old. There's now a lot of speculation around the circumstances. What I want to talk with you about is the impact that Samuels had. The, at least online legacy that he left behind. And, let's get this out in the open. He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He rubbed a lot of women in particular the wrong way. And it's sort of sad to see because he was very popular. He became very influential, and he, on the surface, people tell me, made a name for himself, putting Black women in particular down. Now, I hear a lot of people that knew him well, or knew him better than I do, because I don't know him at all, that said that before he started in on women, he was always talking about men and how to level up and how to be better men so that they have better lives and better relationships. And that's fine. I just think that his approach wasn't for everybody. And I think if we can all keep that in mind, then his impact will be kept in perspective. Because it's just one man's opinion. You can't take advice from everyone, right? He's an individual, in my opinion, that as far as relationships go, he was really focused on a lot of the wrong things. You definitely want to be ready for a relationship, whether you are a man, whether you're a woman. And for men, typically that means that you have your finances in order. You can provide a home in the event that you want children and a wife. You are faithful. You're loyal. You care about children. You want to nurture them. And there's a lot that goes into that, but mainly having good values is a good start. I think the rest of it can take care of itself. If you want a healthy family, you will do all the things that it takes to have a healthy family. I think his focus on, talking about high value men really inadvertently kind of put women down. Like, a high value man doesn't want, you because you're only a 2 or a 4 or a 6. It just sounds very junior high, very juvenile to me. So, but maybe he was just trying to meet people where they are. And if that's their thinking, and if they need to acknowledge that type of thinking so they can move on to the next level, I guess that's okay. Personally, as I said, I just think he was focused on all the wrong things. Now, one of the positives I will say about Kevin Samuels is that he branded himself well. He was a textbook example of how to rise from out of obscurity and brand yourself so that you become a household name. As far as I know, he was he started out as an image consultant. But his presence never moved beyond YouTube. I don't know if he was on TV that often, if he entered into the mainstream media, but he was extremely popular on YouTube, and he trended heavily on Twitter when he passed away. And I'm guessing at times in between as well. So one of the things, if you are interested in branding yourself, he was a great example. He knew how, excuse me, he knew how to gain attention by saying the right things, and his style of communication just made him extremely popular. So I'll leave it with that. Rest in peace to him. Condolences to his family. And we'll continue to see how his influence shapes YouTubers to come. Now, the next subject I wanted to talk about was Dave Chappelle filming his latest Netflix comedy show. He was attacked on stage by someone who was clearly angry or had some type of issues. And I think the way people respond to and deal with what Dave Chappelle has to say is really interesting to me. Dave is a comedian. He's a very powerful comedian. He's very funny. He knows just what to say to get people's attention. He's very insightful. He's a very intelligent person. The way that people treat him, though, is as if he is some sort of diplomat or politician or a dictator. He is none of those things. He's someone with a platform. He's an entertainer. He says what he says. He says things that, as a woman, as a Black woman, that are offensive. But I also realize that it's just comedy. And if there's no truth in it for me, there's no reason for me to be angry or get angry with him. What seems to be happening with people, some people in our current society, is their foundation, their level of personal security seems to be so shaky that they've tried to cancel Dave. And, now he's been attacked. He's constantly running into opposition. And there's an old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. So we've entered into a space where people are, I don't even want to call it sensitive. The lack of security. We have some very insecure people in our society. And I think that is going to be a big problem going forward if we can't get it under control. And that leads to my next point, where it just seems like our society is just dumbed down. We can't discern, we can't tell the difference between a joke and reality. Everything seems to be running together. If you say this about me, you're offending me and my way of life, and I have to react to you, and I don't have the mental or social tools to provide a written or a verbal rebuttal. I have to attack you. I have to try to cancel you. I have to try to, hit you in the bank account. I have to sue you. And I just think it's just gotten out of hand. It's gotten way out of hand. And it may largely be due to the fact that too many of us, and our recent global pandemic, illness, virus has probably compounded this. But too many of us are living in isolation. There seems to be no such thing as community anymore. Community is so important because it helps people define their perspective, define who they are, what their value is, how to act, how to react, how to socialize. And if all of us are, at home all the time, often by ourselves with these computers, we don't have any other outlets, we don't have any valuable friends or relationships that can help us grow and challenge us in meaningful ways, then it's no wonder that we have so many fragile-minded people that have to lash out physically at others. So I just wanted to leave you with that. In the name of, mental wellness, we have to consider the fact that perhaps too many of us are living in isolation, and the YouTubers that we listen to, the entertainers that we look up to, whether we like them or not, we must value their opinions if some of us have resorted to attacking them. They are not the final say-so. They don't have the final word. They cannot define us. They cannot tell us what our value is because they don't even know us personally. So how could they? So how could their words be so impactful? I think as a nation, we'll have to figure out a way to get community back, to help each other. Otherwise, we're going to see more fits of violence. We're going to see more suicides, more people just losing it. I tend to stay to myself more these days because when I do go out, I just see the strangest behavior, things I've never really seen before. And I know it's the effect of this increased isolation. So think about that for yourself. If you are struggling with your emotions, you're struggling with depression, you feel anxious, your stress is too high, try to find some other people, some kindred spirits, some nice people to connect with, and form some relationships with them and keep up with those people, because it could be the difference between you going sane and you living a good life. So I just want to leave you with that. Thank you for stopping by.